I can't believe I just paid for this DLC and now I can't see half of my game. What the hell, Bandai? Welcome back to Naruto Shinobi Striker. Reanimated Itachi is here and they went a little crazy with some of his jutsu. We're gonna look at all the unlockables he gives you and all the jutsu he has at his disposal. But I'll tell you this right now, this is the least heal type DLC I've ever seen come out for heal types. This man is all about inflicting pain. But before we get to that, we have a brand new sponsor today. This video is brought to you by Manscaped.com, the global brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. They offer the best tools and liquid formulations for the big three odor zones: your body, butt, and balls. They hooked me up with the Performance Kit 4.0, so let's check it out. First up, the lawnmower. It's an electric waterproof trimmer with advanced skin-safe technology, which reduces nicks and cuts on the most sensitive regions of the body. It has a cordless charging system, and the LEDs will show you just how much battery you have left. Next, I never knew I needed this until now, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. Apply the preserver after the shower for an all-day odor protection, and the Reviver quickly refreshes the area whenever you need it. Manscaped really has you covered from head to toe. Here's the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. It's also wireless with the same skin-safe technology, so you don't have to worry about tugging or cutting those sensitive nose hairs. Women have had this hygiene stuff figured out for years, and it's time that we men rise up to their level. So if you want to rise up together with me, here's a little bonus. For a limited time, you get all of this stuff plus 2 free gifts: the Shad Travel Bag and the Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs. Go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping along with those 2 free gifts when you use promo code Globku at checkout. Manscaped, always use the right tools for the job. Thank you for sponsoring. Also, folks, an update on hashtag #FixShinobiStriker. It's working. Bandai Namco and the developers have acknowledged the problem and are working on a solution for all the hackers. Well, against all the hackers, I guess. So thank you to all who retweeted and spread the hashtag. We got their attention. Now let's hope this update comes out soon. Until then, we have a new DLC to enjoy, and this is what you get when you buy Itachi. All of this stuff, as usual, you get a title. You also get Itachi's outfit, 2 hairstyles. One of them is the Akatsuki hat, and I can't believe this wasn't in the game yet. It's amazing, and because it's a hair type, you can use it with an accessory on top of it. And the other hairstyle is the Itachi hair with the ponytail and everything. You also get a new lobby action where you call a bird, and I've named my bird Tim. That's my bird's name. Itachi also brings a brand new substitution jutsu to the game that can be equipped by any class type: the Shadow Clone Explosion. When you substitute, you leave behind a single clone, and this clone floats towards you menacingly, and then the clone explodes. And this is a huge explosion that deals a lot of damage and makes the detonating clay clone look like child's play. However, it has a 40-second cooldown, which is 10 seconds longer than most substitution jutsu. It's the same cooldown as the multi-shadow clone jutsu, but remember, that one gives you 2 stocks of the sub. This is just 1. So while you can get a lot from this exploding substitution, it's something that you cannot use very often. In fact, I don't really like it for heal types who are often focused by the enemy team. That said, the benefits are also undeniable, so I could see it being the best sub for some of the other classes. But let's talk about what you're really here for: Itachi's jutsu. First up, his iconic Tsukuyomi, a genjutsu that restrains a single enemy, damages them, and lowers their attack power, speed, and tracking. This ability has a long range, but Itachi needs to make eye contact with his target. Otherwise, you'll see the animation hitting an obstacle. And the target cannot be moving around too much because the tracking on this jutsu is pretty bad. So you'll either have to immobilize an enemy or catch them by surprise for this jutsu to even connect. Luckily, because the activation is pretty fast, you can actually combo into this jutsu, and this seems to be the safest way to hit with it. This jutsu is also unblockable, so you can definitely catch folks trying to protect points or flags by just standing there and blocking. After connecting with the jutsu, the enemy will be stunned for a while, and after a short delay, they'll take the damage. From your point of view, this is what will happen, but from the enemy's point of view, they'll be trapped in Tsukuyomi and stabbed by swords, and this is a really cool effect. Now, while the enemy is stunned, you can hit them with some light attacks, but it's kind of flimsy. I believe it depends on whether the enemy is on the ground or in the air, but definitely don't hit them with anything that will knock them back, because that will cancel the jutsu and you won't get the damage from the swords. And keep in mind that this jutsu lowers everything related to the enemy's attack: less damage, less speed, and less tracking, so you've got the upper hand for a while after landing this. In my research, I tried to counter a bunch of jutsu with this, stuff like Sand Shield and Water Pillar, but nothing really worked. So it's an unblockable jutsu that goes through guards, but it's not really a counter. But because of its long stun time, it can be a wonderful setup for something big. figure, but you definitely need a teammate to deal the damage because as a heal type, your options are very limited. And this also isn't the easiest jutsu to land, which fortunately is not the case with our next jutsu. Yasaka Beads manifests Susanoo and hurls beads at the enemies. Once it connects, it turns into a big blast that damages everyone in the area. This jutsu is very straightforward and easy to use. It's a projectile that has very good speed, amazing tracking, and it counters so much. First of all, it guard breaks, so your only option is to dodge this, which can be hard given how well it tracks. It also destroys water walls and sand shields. It's a very good counter for heal types to run in objective game modes. Though it does not break stuff like Truth Seeker Orb or enemies with Kamui. Those are still immune to this. But that's not all about this jutsu that's amazing, because not only is it a great projectile, the Susanoo that you summon on its startup makes you completely invulnerable. Even ultimate attacks can be nullified with this jutsu, and since it activates pretty fast, it makes it the perfect counter for range types, especially those running majestic fireballs, since you have a ton of time to react. There are a couple of downsides to this jutsu, however. First, if you activate this jutsu close to an opponent, you will knock them up in the air, and the beads will not hit at all. It's like this jutsu has two jobs, being invulnerable and being a projectile, but it's not very good at doing both of them at the same time. And second, you can only cast this jutsu while on the ground, so in some maps, it can be hard to counter range types because you're looking for a place to land most of the time. That said, make no mistake, this is an amazing jutsu, one of the most powerful projectiles in the game, and because of that invulnerability, it can keep you safe as a heal type, which is something that heal types always want to have. And let's finally move on to his ultimate, Izanami. I want to thank my editor for making this awesome asset with a jutsu description and everything, but we're gonna ignore all that. I'm gonna need to explain this jutsu to you step by step because this is crazy. It's like nothing we've ever seen before in this game. First, you press the ultimate button and nothing happens. You see a Sharingan animation on your character, but the enemy team doesn't even see that. So without giving anything away, you just placed everyone around you in your genjutsu. You'll only see the effects of this jutsu 10 seconds later though, because 10 seconds after your initial activation, enemies will go back to the place where they were when you activated the ultimate. Those same enemies will also lose any buffs they have and their ninjutsu will be reset. As a bonus, your allies will also have their debuffs removed, but they're not affected by the loop in any other way. They just get rid of their debuffs. This goes on for 2 loops, but the second loop takes 15 seconds to activate, so the ultimate has a total duration of 25 seconds, at which point it will simply end. But anytime after the first loop, you also get the option to activate your ultimate once again. By doing this, you break the loop, but you stun every enemy and revive all allies. It does have a big downside though, as it makes you blind from one eye for a short period of time, during which your ninjutsu will also be sealed. The range on this ultimate is pretty huge and it's really hard to dodge it, but if a character is knocked down or they happen to be substituting at that exact moment, they won't be affected by it. It's pretty random, but there's always a chance someone will escape its effects. As you might imagine, this ultimate is incredible for flag battle. Whether your teammates are capping the flag or the enemy team is taking it away from you, activate Izanami, and as long as you can delay their capture for 10 seconds, they'll be right back where they started. Other than that, it's a jutsu that you can use at team fights and coordinate with your team. I found that shouting out the time when the loop will happen by looking at the match timer helps a lot. And also, since you can't revive anyone until 10 seconds after you activate the ultimate, it's very good to activate it preemptively as the team fight is starting. That said, it's a very situational jutsu. It's not going to be good in every scenario. It's not something that you press the button and you get a couple of kills. And because it is such a new thing to Shinobi Striker, it's very hard to say whether this will be amazing or ignored in the future. But personally, I think it has potential. And that's Itachi Reanimated. If I had to summarize the character really quick, he brings a good substitution for some class types and builds, a jutsu that I don't think will be used very often because it's super hard to land reliably, another jutsu that we'll definitely see all the time because it's insanely good and counters a lot of stuff, and one of the most unique ultimates I have ever seen in this game. And if nothing else, it will be very entertaining trying to master it. But those are my thoughts on Itachi. I would love to hear yours as well. If you've had the chance to try out the character, let me know how it went in the comments down below. And don't forget about today's sponsor, Manscaped. Click the link down below for a 20% discount with free shipping, along with those 2 free gifts when you use promo code Globku at checkout. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you next time. Bye!